talking about improving our karambit skills, first off, we have to understand the nature of not only blade work, but we also have to understand the nature of the karambit itself and what it brings to the table as opposed to a standard knife. And so one of the most common things what we do with the karambit is we like to do the flips, and we do the flips for multiple reasons, but one of these quick easy ways that we can make ourselves get better at the actual flip, more so better at the control, is actually doing the flip into a position where we're gonna have strength on the return. So there's sometimes, in some cases you can flip it, open it, and close it because the loop allows us to rotate this as many times as we want to. Now, to be a little more efficient, for example, if I were to flick it out from a backhand slash here, when I bring it back, instead of just coming all the way back and holstering it, as I come back, I'm gonna go right into my cut. So you see, I'm gonna have a lot more force because of the momentum that I bring with the karambit. I can reaffirm my grip here and go right into the cut there. It works the same way on the forehand side. So I'm over here and I flick it down that way. Now when I'm coming back and I flick it here, I go into my cut. And it's not so much focusing on the flip itself, but focusing on the quickness and the application as a whole. Now, the second part that we're talking about is when we look at the karambit and you look at the shape, it's meant to imitate a claw, and part of that is understanding the ideology of capturing. When we're trying to capture something, we're not going straight in, straight out and just looking to puncture. We're looking to encompass and we're looking to work around certain things, certain targets to ultimately move in different ways. So when we're training with a partner, just for a quick reference, we're gonna work off of this forearm to forearm position. Now we're using the blade, we're using the curvature of it to actually capture, and it can happen in so many ways. If I start off here, I can go straight down into the wrist lock. I can go to the side to the wrist lock. But the idea isn't to hold, it's to manipulate. So when I have an idea of where my opponent's going, I can use that into my finish, right? It doesn't have to be on that hand as well. I can start from here and I can use it to capture. Again, working around the creases, the curves of the body. And I can use that to start setting up whatever it is I plan to do. There's so many different ways, so many different things you can experiment with as long as you're really, really focusing on capturing, right? We're not looking to just pepper, done, right? We're actually utilizing the blade for its purpose and for what it can actually be stood for, right? If we can go into this position here, we can even take it as a reposition. We can go down here, still working with the creases, okay? We can also do it including the flip. So I get into this position here, I have the flip, and again, working around the curve here, okay? So all in all, when I'm using this curvature, I'm using it to set up my knife flow, the basis of a knife. But again, I'm complementing it with what the karambit can do that a normal knife cannot. So the final thing that we're going to focus on about the karambit is using the ring. So a lot of the things that I teach, especially to my students at the academy, we do a lot of knife work. It's very art oriented, but you also have to understand that training with the knife also should teach you not to use the knife. And so we're lucky that, in this particular case with the karambit, you have an option to still, influence and use some sort of force without having it be deadly 24/7. As soon as I use my knife, it's going down. So for instance, I can get into that same position here, and instead of capturing with my blade, I can use my ring here to kind of use an impact, almost like the same feeling as a stick. It's a little more concentrated. Depending on the material of the karambit, it might bring a little more weight. But the idea is I can take away the lethality while still working into my flow and looking to control whatever it might be. Okay, so I can pick and choose. I can combine them together. I can just use either or. So, it doesn't have to be night and day all the time. If I have a knife on me, even if it was undeployed, so a lot of karambits, this one here is a trainer, but a lot of legal karambits are foldable and it's only edged on the inside. So even with it closed, we can use it like a palm stick and we still have the ring to utilize. Okay, so that is one of the key things about a karambit. We can combine it all together, like I said. We can keep it non-lethal, pick and choose depending on the scenario. It's for your protection, and part of training also helps with your ability to make the decision, make the call, whether to use it or not to use it. So remember, when you're training with the karambit or any blades, whether it's trainers or lives, make sure you're training smart, make sure you're training safely, make sure that if you are using the karambit and you're taking some of these notes down, experiment on your own, see what the karambit could do that other blades cannot. If you guys enjoyed the video and you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and until next time, catch you guys then.